Hello and welcome, guys. Today we're going to be talking about the World Test Championship. Sandipan is wearing the wrong jersey, but definitely he's got whites on his mind because we have switched from the quickest format, that is the T20 format in IPL, to the slowest but definitely engaging format in Test cricket as the WTC. India is once again at the doorstep of an ICC tournament. It's the final, but in their way stands the Australian might. It's not going to be an easy one at all. In fact, for me personally, I just think Australia have the upper hand because they've got their full squad. India, on the other hand, I think will dearly miss the likes of Jasprit Bumrah and Rishabh Pant. I have with me Sandipani. Abel today is traveling, so he'll be back by tomorrow. But unfortunately, you'll have to deal with the two of us for today. But yeah, Sandipani, go ahead. What do you think of India's chances now? Because we are at the threshold of another ICC tournament, at the threshold of possibly some joy finally, and hopefully not the same from the past.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's good to be back after a small break after the IPL. I think we got
Yeah.
out a vlog, really good vlog about Chennai Super Kings. So you guys should definitely check it out. I think Abel, Jaren, they have worked really hard on that. But coming to the main thing, I mean, India back to the Indian jersey, probably the wrong jersey, but I think everybody will after a span of 2 months where everybody were so much invested into their particular franchises. It's good to be back as a whole entire unit and supporting the nation
Yeah.
after a bit.
Yeah.
And I think also it's a great refreshment that India did make it to the World Test Championship finals twice in a row. Just goes on to show the dominance that this Indian team has had in the Test format, in the longer format, for the longest period of time. For 4 years now, I think India have been the best team because they have done the job at home and in the away conditions as well. You
Yeah.
have a lot of teams that perform extremely well in their home conditions, but when you talk about away conditions, they really suffer. But this Indian team has done really well in other countries as well, and I think they are going to play against the best team in the past 2 years in the Test circuit, because when you talk about Australia, you have all their batters, almost all their batters are in form. The bowling team, Josh Hazelwood is going to miss it, but apart from that, I think even the bowling team looks really, really dangerous. Be it a Scott Boland or a Michael Nesser playing, whoever plays, I think Scott Boland will definitely make it. But whoever plays, so I think this is going to be the a contest between the two best teams. And I totally agree with you. India are not going in tomorrow as the favorites, because Kennington Oval never has been a very good place for India, and the first glimpse at the pitch goes on to show. I'm scared if India goes on to bat first. Well, I'm also scared if Australia goes on to bat first. So I think toss is going to play a very, very important factor tomorrow. No matter what we say, and also I mean, it's a day game for England, but uh, tune in at 3 p.m. for India. It's an early start if you talk about England conditions as well. 30 minutes earlier than they usually start it, around 3:30 Indian time. So
Yeah.
3 p.m. tomorrow Indian time they are going to play. So I mean, early morning, it's going to be really difficult to bat in the first 2 hours. So whoever bats first, I
Absolutely.
think will look to the team winning the toss will look to bowl first.
Yeah, I mean, so Sandeep, I was just hearing Dinesh Karthik talk about the pitch. So when he went to visit the pitch, what he said, according to him, was that he felt the pitch was green from the top side of it, but at the bottom there was a lot of dry grass. So he felt the grass might be an illusion for the bowlers. It might seem like it's going to be a great pitch to bat on, play, but then with that, it's mostly the function of that grass is going to be to hold the ground together rather than to help the ball swing and seam. But having said that, you're right. Because of that early start, it's not going to be easy for players at all
Yeah, Jaren. I mean,
whatsoever.
when we
But
talk about
yeah,
early assistance for the bowlers, I mean, in England conditions, we have seen the game just slip away in the first session itself. So no matter even
yeah,
if
we
it gets better for the batters to bat on during the second session or the third session, you won't have the batters playing till the second session or third session to utilize those conditions. You will have the tailenders coming in the second session itself. So the game is already lost in the first session itself. So I think they could have really, I
Hmm.
mean, the curator had a lot of time to prepare the pitch, to prepare the conditions. So taking everything into consideration, I think they could have probably worked a bit on the conditions and the pitch. But I think if you're going on to play in England, you should have that sort of challenge. Be it India, be it Australia. And never mind if India goes on to bat first or Australia goes on to bat first. It's an away game for India, but it's also an away game for Australia as well. So I think the neutral
Yeah.
conditions is somewhere going to come into play. And as the game progresses, I think the pitch will not play that much of an important factor as it will tomorrow in the first session of the game. So I think it's uh, no matter which team is bowling, they'll have to seize control in the first session itself. Otherwise, I think it's going to be the very balanced game. So the advantage that you need in the test match can be gained in that first session itself. So it's going to be very critical.
Yeah, I mean, now that you're speaking about it, the weather also seems to be scattered showers. And last time, you guys remember what had happened in the WTC final for India as well. Whenever it just seemed like India was doing well, rains would come down and then the momentum would change. But we don't know how things are going to be. But as things stand, let me just to clarify, if the rains do end up destroying a day's play, then there is a reserve day, a sixth day, which will be converted to the fifth day. On the other hand, if a match cannot, a conclusion cannot be withdrawn, neither of the teams will win. They will be sharing the mace. So I don't know if that how that works. Will India have a half a star on their test jersey? I don't know. I'm very interested to see how that will work.
I think if
But
if
I
the
mean, let's look
6 day
at
condition
the.
wouldn't have been on play in the last cycle of the WTC as well, I think India would have already had half a star in their test jersey, and this time I think we could have added another half. If there is no play, of course, or if there is a draw match. If it's a draw match, I think we could have had half plus half 1 star as a whole. But I think India crumbled in the last day's play in the last cycle of the WTC champion, or like World Test Championship. So I think this time around they are going to bounce back because I mean I'm always a huge fan of numbers and I mean a lot of people will not agree with me over here, but India did. I mean Pakistan. I'll just draw a parallel. Pakistan did go on to lose the first World T20 finals, and they went on to make it to the second finals, and they won it against all the odds, against a very good, balanced Sri Lankan team. So I think I'll just draw parallels from that Pakistan team, and probably this time around, India being the more consistent side, making it to the finals for the second time, they should get it done, get the job done this time around.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are into superstitions as well, you know that left hand, right hand rule, right? Whoever stands on the right, well, the left side of it, if I'm not wrong, whoever stands on the left
Yeah,
side of
yeah,
the trophy wins the tournament. This time around, Rohit Sharma has been photographed on the left side of the trophy, the mace, and maybe this, right is not the right side, and who knows, maybe India goes walks away with it. But this is the India squad. KL Rahul won't be playing, obviously, post his IPL injury. Something that I don't know if it's a relief or not, but he's still got decent test numbers. But I think if you look at this squad
no, no,
before we
no, no.
get into the playing 11,
Yeah.
we have to talk about one name that is missing, and that is the likes of Rishabh Pant. He has been an X factor player for India. Also, let's look at someone like, I mean, Shreyas Iyer. I know Shreyas Iyer has not really done the job. I mean, has not really gotten a chance to do the job when it comes to foreign countries because he's played primarily in India. But if you look at Rishabh Pant is the highest run getter for India in this WTC cycle. He scored 1,424 runs at an average of 47. And Shreyas Iyer has got the best average when it comes to more than 500 runs. I mean, a second highest average rather when it comes to 500 runs or more, which is 44.4. So these are going to be two players that India is going to miss a lot. Do you reckon? First of all, I'll ask you this question, right? We'll go slowly. Let's look at the keeper side of things because that's the first question that easily comes into mind because that was one player who really saved India multiple times. Whether it be Border Gavaskar Trophy or whether it be that innings in, I think, South Africa was it, where he scored another 100. Even in England, he's done well, Rishabh Pant. So
Yeah.
he's been an X factor wicketkeeper batter, probably the best wicketkeeper batter for India for so long. Now, who would you go with? Would you go with KS Bharat, whom you have kept in Pant's shadows for so long? Or would you go with Boomer Levin's favorite, Ishan Kishan? Kishan. A little bit more batting, but less keeping, or a little bit more keeping and less batting. I think that's what basically the question is going to be here.
Yeah, see, honestly, that is why. I mean, the keeper conundrum is the only reason, and is a very critical reason why KL Rahul is another player that is going to be missed dearly. Because when you talk about makeshift keepers, I think KL Rahul has done the job for India in the past. No matter what format you call him in the ODIs, he'll do it for you. You call him in the T20s, he'll do it for you. And in Test matches, right now, when if you have to choose between a KS Bharat or a Ishan Kishan, and I'll definitely go. I would have gone with a KL Rahul. More experience, and when you talk about numbers, I mean, Rishabh Pant had a very good record in England. He scored that magnificent century in I think it was in Oval itself in the last test. It was 3 years back. But another player that got a century along with Rishabh Pant in that game was KL Rahul. And KL Rahul, even in the last series that India played in England, was opening along with Rohit Sharma and scored a century as well, and got India off to a flyer in more occasions than not. I mean, in 2 or 3 matches, KL Rahul
Yeah.
and Rohit Sharma did get India off to a great start. Something which we haven't seen from the Indian opening pair in England conditions in a long time. I think it was Wasim Jafar doing the job, Wasim Jafar and Dinesh Karthik doing the job for India way back in 2007 when India toured England. Apart from that, I think that this was the best opening pair that India had. But with Shubman Gill in red hot form, I think KL Rahul will not be missed in that opening slot. But as a keeper, I think KL Rahul, Rishabh Pant, both are going to be missed. As Shreyas Iyer as well. I mean, you spoke about the average, but I think Shreyas Iyer has been the best player after Rishabh Pant for India in the last 2 years in Test format. And he has just accumulated those numbers when a lot of players have struggled. And it's not the way it's not just the number of runs that he has scored, but the way in which he has scored it in a pitch or in conditions where you have seen the greats of Virat Kohli, Cheteshwar Pujara adopting a very defensive approach, even a Rohit Sharma adopting a very different defense approach, and trying to play out sessions. You have seen KL Rahul, sorry, I mean Shreyas Iyer come in and take the attack on the bowlers. Okay, and talking about the wicketkeeper conundrum right now, KS Bharat and Ishan Kishan, I think since you have backed KS Bharat as your go-to wicketkeeper in the Border Gavaskar Trophy last time around as well, I think you should back him for this game as well. I think it is going to do him a great deal, a great lot of deal in terms of confidence. But having said that, I think that there are rumors and lots of buzz that Ishan Kishan is going to play tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just because of the X factor that he brings to the team. Um, no wonder there might be a condition where he'll come in and score just 10-15 runs. But I think he'll be in that team. If he is in that team, he'll be in that team for that right attitude, the approach or the attitude that a Rishabh Pant brings, that a Shubman Gill will look to
Yeah.
bring out in tomorrow's game. I
Correct.
think that is something Ishan Kishan will look to do. And that is where he'll get the edge over a KS Bharat, who we have seen have looked to attack at times, but he is more of a defensive batter in test matches. And he couldn't really utilize the opportunities that he got in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Mind you, India haven't played another test match since the Border Gavaskar Trophy. So if you have to judge, I think I would have stick to KS Bharat, but Team India is going to stick to Ishan Kishan.
Yeah, just going over the Ranji Trophy numbers as well. KS Bharat has scored. I mean, Ishan Kishan has scored more runs than Srikhar Bharat in less amount of matches. In when it comes to, I mean, sorry, rather when it comes to first class cricket in 48 matches, Ishan Kishan scored around 3,000 runs with an average of 38, strike rate of 68. If you look at KS Bharat in his first class career so far, he's got more than 4,500 runs. He's got slightly lower average and strike rate than Ishan Kishan as well. I think so. In that case, you would have to say that Ishan Kishan is no mug with a bat when it comes to red ball format. But then you would also have to consider that Ishan Kishan plays cricket. I mean, this is cricket being played in domestic cricket played in India, right? And it's going to be a whole lot more different when the likes of Mitchell Stark, Pat Cummins, Scott Boland are going to come steaming at you. It's going to be completely different. But you're right in that sense. I think Ishan Kishan is kind of that batter like what Pant was. I expect him to be the kind of batter that Pant was in his early Test career. someone who would come in, score 30 of 31, and then drop two, three catches once in a while, unable to deal with that late swing. I can understand it can happen, but you're right. From what we're hearing from the camp, Ishan Kishan's playing a lot of deliveries. He's been practicing a lot in the nets. So I think they might go with him because he's a direct
I
replacement
wouldn't have really
of
minded
Rishabh Pant.
if Riddhiman Shah would have got a call up, because he looked good
Yeah, yeah.
in the IPL, and he has been the best keeper in India after Dhoni, after Dhoni's retirement. I think if you talk about in terms of keeping talent, I think Riddhiman Shah is the best keeper that India has got right now. Yeah, he is old, so probably he could have given him that one last ride with this game, because come the 23-25 cycle, I think we are going to see lots and lots of changes, where you'll probably see a Sarfaraz Khan make it to the Indian test team finally. You'll have lots of youngsters come in, hopefully. I'm just hoping it. And also with the fast bowlers, I mean they are aging as well. Umesh Yadav, Mohammad Shami, they are not really the youngest of the lot. I think Mohammad Siraj is going to be the new leader of that youngster pace attack, and I think we are going to see lots of experiments and changes in the 23 to 25 cycle. Having said that, I think Riddhiman Shah could have got that last ride with this
Yeah.
game tomorrow, but I really don't mind Ishan Kishan getting a chance, but then again, you saw what happened to a Surya Kumar Yadav when he tried to play a test match. It disrupted his
Hmm.
game. But then again, Ishan Kishan is not your
Yeah.
sure shot 11 starter in your ODI or the T20I squad. So he has got nothing to lose there. He'll just go out there and look to express himself.
I mean, mind you guys, the last first class match that he's played, Ishan Kishan, was last year in December against it was against I mean services that he's played it. So it's been a while you would say, but it's not been that further apart as well for him. So I'm still interested to see how that goes ahead because the management does seem to back him a lot. Let's look at so let's start from the bottom, right? Who are going to be your fast bowlers in tomorrow's? I mean, in the lineup for WTC finals, Sandipani. I think for me, Mohammad Siraj easily walks in, and from what I'm hearing, Umesh Yadav is bowling really well once again. This is Dinesh Karthik speaking for Crick Buzzer. He said that Umesh Yadav has been bowling well. He's looking good in good rhythm. So most likely it's going to be the two Mohammeds and then Umesh Yadav in the middle of it. Those are going to be your three fast bowlers, and I think Shardul Thakur, they would be tempted to go for Shardul Thakur. I don't know. I think it could be a wild card really because there are times it really depends on which Shardul Thakur turns up in the WTC. Is it the Shardul Thakur that smashed English bowling in that series, or is also the Shardul Thakur that got smashed by the English batters? It could be either of the Shardul Thakur that turns up. So that's where for me personally, I'll play a little safe. I've got that soft side for Ravi Ashwin as well. He's one of your test legends. I think it's not a bad bet playing him because when you play a Ravindra Jadeja, right, you're not exactly playing a bowler who can bat. You're playing a batter, an out and out batter. So I think that's where you can sneak in a Ravichandran Ashwin. And maybe, if the pitch stops, like Sandipani said, it's possible that when the sun comes out, batters will look to make hay. And that's where Ashwin and Jadeja could really cause them some trouble because mind you, this Australian batting lineup still doesn't like facing Ashwin and Jadeja, and Ashwin can bowl anywhere, regardless. I know Ashwin has had a lot of issues facing playing when it comes to in England, but I think he's improved his game, especially since his county stint, and I think he can bat as well. So you still lengthen your batting lineup, which Shardul Thakur you never know because not been in that good a form, and he's a little underconfident as well. So you don't know which Shardul Thakur turns up.
Yeah, see, if you ask me, I think yeah, all the arguments were quite in the debate as well, and I think a lot of people have been speculating a lot. But if you ask me, my playing 11, the five bowlers that I go with, including Jadeja, I think Jadeja is definitely going to be there. Mohammad Siraj and
Yeah,
Mohammad
of
Shami are
course.
definitely going to be there. So these three are fixed. So it all comes down to that number 8 slot and another pace bowler that India is looking for. And if you have to choose between Umesh Yadav, Shardul Thakur, and Jaydev Unadkat, I mean, Dinesh Karthik said that Umesh Yadav is bowling well. Even if he wasn't really bowling well, I would have still gone in with Umesh Yadav especially because of experience. Because this is that one final game, and if you have a Shardul Thakur, yes, Shardul Thakur will give you that X factor element sometimes. One out of three games where he'll perform exceedingly well, and then you'll have
Yeah.
other days where Shardul Thakur is neither a batsman nor a bowler, and it's never a good sight to see a Shardul Thakur who is neither a batsman nor a
Yeah.
bowler. So I think I'll be on the safer side, and exactly. The reason that I'll go for Umesh Yadav is also because I want Ravichandran Ashwin in my team, because I have already made it clear that I'm a huge Ashwin fan. And yeah, Akshar Patel was
Yeah.
also probably will also probably be in the reckoning, but Akshar Patel, Ravindra Jadeja, similar sort of bowlers, and Jadeja has a wonderful, great record against Australia. He has picked up 86 wickets at an average of
Hmm.
18 point something, 18.85 in 18 matches. So I think Jadeja will definitely be starting for me. So I'll not have Akshar Patel, even though he's in the prime in his form of life with the bat. But Akshar Patel, the bowler, I don't really trust Akshar Patel, the bowler, in Kennington Oval conditions. So I'll definitely have a
Yeah.
Ravichandran Ashwin in my team. Huge Ashwin fan, and you don't know what impact Ashwin can create. If the match was is played in India or the subcontinent, I think Ashwin, before the start of the series, you can predict that Ashwin is going to be the player of the series. And not just that, I think it's not
Hmm.
just about the deviations or the way he bowls balls, the way he flights it. I think the experience that he has to bowl differently to different batters, and he knows exactly how to bowl to a particular batter. He can experiment in that way as well, and that experience counts for a lot. So I know it was this sort of team that India picked their best team according to experience in the game against New Zealand, where they did not do well in the last cycle of in the last finals. But I think this time around, I'll still go with experience. I'll still go with Umesh Yadav, Mohammad Siraj, Mohammad Shami, Ravichandran Ashwin, and Ravindra Jadeja in my picks, because I think Jaydev Unadkat still not ready for. I mean, he's a good bowler. He's in good form, but not yet World Test Championship finals ready for me. And Shardul Thakur, I really don't trust Shardul Thakur with my. I won't trust Shardul Thakur with my life, because if my life depended on it, I won't put in Shardul Thakur at number 7 to bat. But I can do that
Yeah.
with Ravichandran
Yeah.
Ashwin, and also Akshar Patel. I mean,
Yeah.
Akshar Patel will be a good 12th man in this team, but I think with Jadeja and Ashwin, Akshar Patel should miss out tomorrow.
Absolutely. I think we have a question from Teju here. So if we are bowling first, we have a chance. But if you're batting first, hand over the trophy to Australia. Yeah, that's what I was talking about Teju as well. Initially in the live, we don't really know how the pitch is going to behave because Dinesh Karthik, as I said, has said that it is live grass is only to hold the wicket together. But then I think the first session, first day, the ball is definitely going to move. It's a Duke's ball. It's supposed to move. It's built to move. So as I think you're right, but you never know if India can survive that first session after losing the toss. If Gill and Rohit can mount a counter attack, I think that's will come to the batters as well. But I think for me, Rohit is the X factor here. Rohit and Gill, or at least if Rohit plays at least 50 to 60 deliveries, then he can really take the game away from Australia and we can really put them under the pump. Because you have to realize that maybe in comparison, this is still a young Australian side, or at least the senior players. You would have to say Steve Smith, David Warner. Obviously, the bowling quartet, but the batting is a little younger. If you really see, they've really not been in this situation before, for sure. I mean, they've played well. They've done in well. They've been in the situation, the white ball format, but red ball format. India is slightly bit more experienced. They know how it is to play a WTC format. So if you can put them under pressure initially, maybe you never know. They might slightly crumble, and that might help. Yeah,
Yeah,
Sanjay,
absolutely.
I'll
I
give you this
think Rohit
question.
Sharma is the X factor player. Rohit Sharma, I mean, don't
Yeah,
count out Rohit Sharma because of his IPL performances, because year in, year out, Rohit
yeah,
Sharma comes into the IPL, sleeps throughout the IPL, walks away with the trophy, and then comes back to the Indian team with red hot form. So I think, and he has got a century in the last series that India played in England. He was a key element in that game, and he got a century in the last Border Gavaskar Trophy as well in India. He started off the test series with a century. So he's very good in this sort of one-off matches. And with Shubman Gill being in this sort of form, in the purple patch of his career, probably with a 890 runs IPL season, a lot of Australian bowlers will have everything in their will try everything to get Shubman Gill out and get those early wickets. And that is where if you underestimate Rohit Sharma even by an inch, I think he's still one of the finest test players in India for sure, and in the world as well. He's one of the finest openers that you'll get to see in the world of cricket right now in test matches as well. So I think underestimating Rohit Sharma does not make any sense. And talking about Kapil Verma, I totally agree with you, because yeah, if any of the team bats in one of the innings, if you can get in 500 runs, I think the bowlers can do the rest. Definitely, you are definitely in the driver's seat if you have 500 runs on the board. But I don't think that is going to be very easy to score 500 runs in England conditions. Having said that, I also feel what Teju said, that first session 60 for 5, India batting first, 45 minutes of bat cricket and everything is done. I think that is something that can really happen as
Yeah.
well. So I really hope that Rohit Sharma wins the toss tomorrow, because if Pat Cummins wins the toss, I think it is going to be. I don't want to say all these things, but it's going to be very difficult for
Wow.
India not to lose early wickets.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I totally agree with you. I genuinely don't want to see a 60 for 5 again. I remember how we were on top, I think, of the first innings against, after first innings, we did a very good job till we had that 45 minutes, one session of bad cricket against New Zealand. Same thing happened in the third innings. We got them all out after they kind of got away from us. We got them all out. Then again, we played a bad session. We couldn't, none of our batters could get a start. I think, I genuinely think it's time we grab those clutch moments and try and convert them. So hopefully, hopefully, our batters do come good, because I think genuinely, I think there's a question here from Teju as well. I genuinely believe that it is going to be the batters from both ends, because Australian batters have done a very good job. I think, to be fair, you would have to say that they have been a better team than India in this cycle, towards the end of the cycle, because of the fact that the batters have performed almost everywhere they've gone. They've dominated at home. They've done well in
And you
Pakistan.
have
They did well in
four
Sri
of the
Lanka, by the way.
Australian players in the top 10 ICC rankings right
Yes,
now.
yes.
And we have
So yeah,
all not spoken about Usman Khawaja yet, and I think Usman Khawaja in the later half of his career, what a revival, what a story that guy has
definitely.
built on his
Yeah.
own. And I think another factor, while we covered the Indian bowlers, I think another factor or another element why you should have a Ravichandran Ashwin and not Akshar Patel and Jadeja in your team is Australia have 4 top order batters who are predominantly left-handed, because you are going to have Usman
Hmm.
Khawaja, David Warner open the batting for you. Then you will have the stability of Marnus Labuschagne and Steven Smith. Jadeja has dismissed Steven Smith 7 times in test matches, and 5 times he has dismissed Marnus Labuschagne in test matches, 4 of which were in the last series, in the last Border Gavaskar Trophy earlier this year. So I think Jadeja will be high on confidence against Marnus Labuschagne. But then again, you have the likes of Alex Carey, Travis Head coming in, both left-handers. So that is where I think Ravichandran Ashwin coming in, and at least if not getting wickets, getting in those dry spells. I think Teju rightly mentioned, because the matches where India have lost in the past 3-4 years, you will see one common factor, that they have really got into a shell in one of the conditions before losing a cluster of wickets in that middle overs. They
Yeah.
really get into a shell where Chitashwar Pujara is playing maiden over after maiden over. Virat Kohli is really struggling to get off the mark, and that is something that India will look to do, because this Australian team is very aggressive. Travis Head, Usman Khawaja, everybody will look to take the attack on Ashwin or any spinner for that matter, and that is where they'll really come in handy for you. Ashwin, if the batter is trying to attack you or take the attack on you, I think Ashwin is a very dangerous bowler, and I think that is where he can come good. I mean, it's a two-way sword. Ashwin will either really crumble or he'll come really good for you, and the latter happening, the chances of that is higher than him really crumbling under pressure.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think just to answer your question again, for me, it will be Mohammad Shami because he's someone who's got that line and length who can really restrict batters. If he's not getting the moment, if he's not troubling the batters, at least he keeps them quiet. Again, Teju again mentions about how Rohit Sharma has never lost a final. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I mean, I think as Rohit Sharma as a captain in this year's IPL was just brilliant. So he should be coming off some confidence from that. And I think now he's genuinely making this team his own. And that's a good sign for him. Do you guys think that Boland will be effective in Oval? I feel he's more of Lord's pitch kind of a bowler, but this line. So yeah, I think we'll go to Australia's squad just as we transition into that question. Yeah, I think for me, it's going to be interesting again how the pitch behaves. But yeah, you're right. I think Boland is a player who likes more of seam than swing. He's not a swing bowler for sure. He's a seam bowler. But then that Duke's ball, right? That seam is a bit more pronounced. It's become a lot more pronounced now with a new batch of balls. So I think initially he could have slight bit of advantage as well because that's where you have to realize. I think England is not just about the swing. I sometimes believe that England you can really get troubled by this seam movement as well. So that's where it's going to be interesting because we've never seen Boland ball in England as well. We've seen him ball in MCG, and I agree he would have been very much effective in Lords with that slope. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does in England tomorrow because we have no idea how he
But
is
I think
balled.
Australia also
So
don't have
going
another
off
option, right? Because if you're
the
not playing Boland, you'll have to go with a very inexperienced Michael Nesser. I think he'll do a
he's
good
not a
job in
bad
England,
option though.
nonetheless. Yeah, he is not a bad
Yeah,
option,
I
but
think
you would
Michael
rather have
Lester is
a
someone who
Scott
suits
Boland
me
who is in
much
red hot
more.
form, right? Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, just to answer Teju's question, if you want a swing bowler, Michael Lesser is not a bad option because pace is not much of an issue in England, right? It's never been an issue. English bowlers are never fast until and unless you, import someone from the Caribbean in the name of Jofra Archer. They've never been quick, English bowlers. But or even Mark Wood, the fastest bowler, has not played much. He plays three
Yeah.
matches, then injures himself for the next three series. So England's never had that issue. But yeah, I think I mean, let's see how it goes. Let's look at the Australian squad. I have got Abel's laptop right here, so that's the reason why I'm again going down and having to look at this side of the things. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I'll
think
just
Australian squad.
bring
By the
out
time
the
you get that
squad.
up, I can just talk about the
Yeah,
bowling
go ahead,
because
Sameer.
there is nothing much to talk about the bowling. You have Pat Cummins, you have Mitchell Stark, you have Nathan Lyon. Uh, Obviously, Josh Hazelwood is going to miss out due to an injury that will not allow them to
Big
complete that
relief.
quad
Big
eight.
relief
Yeah,
for us.
big relief for India, big relief for India. So I think,
Yeah,
but you
unfortunate
have
for
the
them.
likes of Cameron Green. You have the likes of Cameron Green filling in as the fifth bowling option.
Yes.
So you can have a Scott Boland and Cameron Green. So it's not really a relief for India, especially after the way Cameron Green has really opened the bowling in India. He has done a terrific job for Australia as well as Mumbai Indians in the IPL as well with the ball, which was uncharacteristic. I thought that Cameron Green would have that sort of an impact playing in Indian conditions. So if he can do that in India, I think he'll be a far bigger X factor player for Australia right now. And then I'll give you an unpopular opinion. I mean, it's sorted right now. You already know that you're going to have Mitchell Stark, Pat Cummins, Nathan Lyon, probably Scott Boland. I don't think Michael Nesser will get in Scott Boland, and
He
definitely
won't. He won't.
Cameron
Yeah.
Green as your five bowling options. Then you have Alex Carey as your wicket keeping option. You have a Travis Head, Usman Khawaja, Marnus Labuschagne, Steven Smith. So all these 10 players are almost settled to make it to the playing 11 tomorrow. And Australia, I think, are going to go ahead with David Warner. But unpopular opinion from my side, I wouldn't want to see David Warner playing tomorrow. I think Mitchell Marsh will be a great addition to that Australian side. He'll give you that six bowling option.
Yeah.
Uh, case the Indian team is really defensive, like playing the defense and play defense. Going with the defense strategy against all your bowlers and tiring them out. You can have that X factor element of Mitchell Marsh, who did a terrific job with the ball in the IPL as well for Delhi Capitals. And also, I think with the bat, I think whatever value David Warner has been adding to the Australian Test side, I think Mitchell Marsh can do a better job. And you have Travis Head and Usman Khawaja as your opener. Travis Head can be a very good match opener. We saw that in the Border Gavaskar Trophy in the last two games. They
Yeah.
put India in foot with their attacking stroke play and an attacking game basically. So whatever David Warner used to do to Team India earlier on in Australia, I think Travis Head tried that and implemented that in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. So I don't mind a Travis Head and Usman Khawaja opening. Then you can have a Marnus Labuschagne, Steven Smith, and you can have that Mitchell Marsh in that middle order. Mitchell Marsh, Cameron Green, and Alex Keddy looks a deadly combination.
Yeah, this versus his out of the box performance from Travis Head if they bat first. Yeah, I think he's a key player. He's a very much a key player for them. And just look at the amount, like look at the players who scored the highest runs in this cycle for Australia. And Travis Head is right up there. He's number three. He scored at a average of 52.52 and scored 1,208 runs all around the world, mind you, not just in Australia. It's not been a home ground bully. He's played everywhere. So you know what really scares
And
me,
that is why
Sandipani,
I
though,
would
in this.
want Travis Head to open the game, open the innings, and take the attack on the Indian bowlers and take the game away from them. Because
And
you wouldn't want Travis Head coming in the first session, batting at number 5 for you.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, I forgot to add this point when I was speaking, but I genuinely miss. I think India will genuinely miss Ishant Sharma in that squad. I felt after that IPL performance, you could have just snuck him in. He wouldn't have been a bad bet. I think I'm very interested to see if India can go. Maybe if India can surprise the Australians with someone like a Jaydev Unadkat, because he could really be an X factor bowler. I know he's done amazingly well. If you guys saw that Ranji Trophy final, which is also played on a track very similar to what we have seen today, he made the ball talk and none of the batters had any answers. I'm not saying Australian batters are going to be as easy to get through, but Jaydev Unadkat could be a fear factor player. You could possibly push. I mean, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be an easy decision. It's going to be a gutsy decision. But if Umesh Yadav makes way for Jaydev Unadkat, not a bad idea. It's been a long time since he's played Test cricket, but he's genuinely a good swing bowler and he can make life hell for Australian batters. Someone Australian batters have not faced ever. None of these Australian batters have ever faced, and maybe not a bad bet. Similarly, I think for this Australian squad, someone like a Lance Morris could be a surprise package as well. He's quick, he's fast, he can also make the ball. And Oval, by the way, has got a slight extra bounce to it. Like it's not like the other English wickets, slightly a harder wicket. So Lance Morris can get anything out of the pitch, especially if it's bounced. So he could be a surprise package as well. But obviously he's not going to play, and that's where I
Yeah.
think Cameron Green is going to be a very difficult bowler for India to face. I think India's faced Mitchell Stark before, Pat Cummins before. Cameron Green, we saw him swing the ball in IPL in India. I'm worried what he can do in England.
Exactly, and I think a lot of teams get complacent after taking in the opening barrage of the bowlers. After a Pat Cummins or a Mitchell Stark is done with the first spell, India will probably
Yeah.
look to get the innings going and take the attack on bowlers like Cameron Green and Nathan Lyon just to take the
And you
innings
know what,
forward, and
Sandeep?
that is where
Now
I
that you
think Cameron
remind
Green will.
me,
Yeah,
I'll just give you an example as well. You remember how we did not struggle against the likes of Bolt or Saudi in that WTC final. We struggled
yeah,
against the
yeah.
likes of that third seamer, which was, I mean, Jameson is a great test bowler. And it's a great thing for New Zealand to have him. But you have to consider that India struggled against not the top two. So they struggled against someone they probably took for granted. And he's a very similar bowler, Cameron Green, not as skilled, but a very similar bowler to what Kyle Jamieson is.
Exactly, and I think the height factor adds into the similarity as well, and that is why I would want a Mitchell Marsh in the team as well. I know, I mean, there is a lot of sentiments with David Warner playing his final test or bidding farewell to the illustrious career that he has had. But I think David Warner as a test cricketer has run its course, and I think we saw the way he
Yeah.
struggled in India before sitting out. I think. And Australia, after the first two tests in the Border Gavaskar Trophy, looked really dangerous with that opening pair of Usman Khawaja and Travis Head coming in and taking the attack on the bowlers. So yeah, I think definitely you can put a gamble on Mitchell Marsh as well. And talking about Jaydev Unatkar, I also on second thought I think I am not really uh, skeptical about the idea of Jaydev Unatkar playing, especially if you are playing him in place of Umesh Yadav, because Mohammad Siraj, Mohammad Shami are in the best of forms, and Jaydev Unatkar can be that surprise package against the left-handers in that
Yes.
opening spell. I think he can work wonders along with Mohammad Siraj.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with Teju here as well. Steve Smith, Manas Labuschagne are going to be the most important players for Australia, obviously. Yeah, I'll just answer the speculation about Abel. So, guys, Abel has traveled. He's traveling back right now. He'll be back by 1 o'clock. He's definitely going to be joining us tomorrow. It's just that Abel likes to travel a lot. So, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry he couldn't be here. I know you guys are missing him. He's obviously a big part of who we are. Just like Rishabh Pant or Jasprit Bumrah, he'll be back. He'll be back. The trio will be back definitely for day one's end tomorrow. But yeah, I think that's where Mohammad Siraj is going to be an important player because he's troubled both these players. Even in that Border Gavaskar trophy, he did have moments against them. And I think one thing that I love about Siraj is once you turn that switch on, then there's no stopping him. And he loves playing in England. The last time he came here, he was a potent bowler. So I think he's someone who can, really step up the game. Whenever India feels down, he could be a bolt of fresh energy. So excited to see how he goes about it. He could be very key. Yeah, Shinwari, as I mentioned, we want Jaydev Unatkar to play. He could be a surprise package. Someone Australia will never plan against. Oh, that is going to be an interesting one. But Shinwari, would you want to have six bowling options? Six, right? No. Yeah, I think
No, no, I
no,
think
no.
I
I think
think
five bowling
Shinwari
options
wants
still, but one
four
batting option
pacers.
less.
Yeah, no, no,
Yeah,
I think
one batting
Shinwari wants
option
four
less.
pieces. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Four pacers and
once again,
Jadeja. But then you're really
I
sacrificing your batting, and you don't know the pitch. I think that's not an easy thing to take, a decision to take.
yeah, but I think I mean I really want Ashwin to play tomorrow, but I don't think Jadeja against Australia is going to be a bad option. Even if you have the flattest of conditions, I think Jadeja will pose a lot of problem just because of his consistency and discipline. But the only factor that
Hmm.
goes against Jadeja being the only spinner is that Australia have four left-handers in their top order. The likes of uh, Usman Khawaja, David Warner, Alex Carey, and Travis Head. I think you should have a Ashwin in your team. And I wouldn't really want Shardul Thakur really go in. No, I don't think I've really jinxed anyone in any games. I think I bring luck with my jersey, not just for the
Yeah,
Indian
you
team,
were
but
wearing
even for
KKR
my.
jersey the whole time, right?
Yeah, I have been wearing the Indian jersey for the whole time, but that does not
Yeah, and
contribute
we
to
never won an
India
ICC
losing
trophy.
matches.
So maybe Saloni is
Yeah,
on to
India.
something. See, but we never won an ICC trophy, so maybe Saloni is on to something. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think
Maybe,
of the
maybe.
what do you think of the new jerseys, Sandipani? We have to talk about that, right? I, for once, am really upset with ICC that they didn't allow us to wear the three stripes because we had a Real Madrid thing going on for us. It was like Real Madrid entering the final. Yeah, see, Nabil also says this. Oh, there's a full-fledged attack on Sandipani's jersey right now, guys. Oh, damn.
So,
But yeah,
but
anyway, I
in
mean,
my
this we had
defense,
a full.
this is the old Indian jersey. So I think tomorrow India is not going to wear this. I mean, not wear the Baiju sponsored jersey which you saw in the even in the
But
shared
yeah, see,
screen
this is
as
my
well. So
point
I
as
think
well.
new jersey, new luck.
See, yeah, Nabil and me are on one end. I think Nabil, if I'm not wrong, he supports CSK as well. See, that's what I'm saying as well. We have not won an ICC trophy whenever you won that jersey. We've not. So we've. Yeah. Yes, Teju, I'll get to that. But yeah, you see, this is my point, right? What Nabil says. You wore the KKR jersey, did not bring them any luck. You wore the Gujarat jersey, did not bring them much luck. So maybe
I mean,
Saloni and
I
Nabil
wore
are
the
on to
Gujarat
something.
jersey when Gujarat won the IPL trophy last year. They made it to the finals last year, this year as well.
But I
So
think
yeah,
I
yeah. I
think I
mean,
think your luck's running.
I will
Who
will
knows?
decide on the jersey after tomorrow's play. I mean, if India, I mean, I just want
Done.
to make it clear
Done.
that if India goes on to bat first, it is not my fault if Rohit Sharma loses the toss. if India wins the toss and if India performs badly, I think then I can probably throw this jersey out and probably not wear a jersey before the game.
But what do you guys, Salmani, what do you think of the India's Adidas jerseys? I'll just answer Teju's question before I get to you, though. Yes, Teju, yeah. So our hotel was pretty close to the Ripon building. Fun fact, actually, we ended up at the central station. We got out at the main entrance, took an auto, traveled for 10 minutes, and then we realized that there's an entrance in front of the Ripon building for the metro. So we spent like 100 rupees extra for no use. But yeah, it was fun. Chennai was damn good. And yeah, you're right. You're spot on. It was in front of the Ripon building. And man, it's beautiful at night. The lights shining. I'm glad you watched the documentary as well. I hope you liked it. Nabil said Sandivani should stop. Sandivani should stop. Sandivani, why, man? You have only one job to do.
I mean, yeah,
Guys,
it's
don't
okay
worry.
if you.
Sandivani is going to be back. Sandivani is going to be back with those Adidas jerseys. It only costs 5,000. He's going to buy all three. Only 15,000. Sandivani is going to come back with Adidas drips.
No. I think
So
I think
what do
they're
you think of the
talking about
jersey, though?
me. They are talking about me wearing a jersey before the team plays. So I think if India
No,
does
I mean,
badly tomorrow, I think I'm going to come up with Boomer's jersey tomorrow. No more India jersey for me.
but do you guys think it is a jersey or is it Sandivani? That's my question. In the comments, please. Thank you, Nabil. I loved it. I loved it. I'm glad you found it sexy. But yeah, let's
No, I
this is one thing
definitely
we have to do.
I definitely think that you guys can't blame me for the entire team's failure. But still, I mean, I think even if you guys put a lot of superstition or jinx into it, I still feel that India is going to win when the World Test Championships finals, and
Guys,
even if they don't, even if they don't, we have the World Cup in India coming up, and then I'll know what not to wear before the ODI World Cup comes in.
I mean, I have to ask you guys, and what do you think of this jersey now? I mean, the Adidas jersey, there's a lot of flake. I mean, there's a lot of 50-50 thing, I would say. Some people are saying it's a great jersey. Some people are saying it's not the best. What do you think of the jersey? Sandipan. Sandipan is
Yeah,
jinxed every
see,
freaking team.
no, I mean only Nabil. I have only jinxed the team which I like. I mean the jersey that I wear, and I
But you like India. That's
uh,
the issue, right?
yeah, that's the issue. No, I can't come in wearing an Australian jersey when I'm supporting Team India. So yeah, I mean, talking about the jersey, I think I'm not really a fan of jerseys in general. I think you can wear what you want, you can wear whatever you want to the game, as long as you play good cricket. And I think tomorrow, going in, Australia are the team to beat because they have been the team to beat in this World Test Championship cycle of 2021 to 23. I think it's only India that have got the better of Australia in a bilateral series. That too, which was played
Yeah.
only in India as well. You had the spin duo or the spin trio of Akshar Patel, Ravichandran Ashwin, and Jadeja spinning webs around India. And even then, you saw that the Australian contingent brought one of the best spinning teams to India. I mean, one of the best set of spinners to Team India in a long time. Probably the best set of spinners that have come to team that have toured Team India from the Australian unit. So I think this Australian team is the team to beat. Uh, this Australian team is the team to beat, and I think if India will do a great job, I think after the first session tomorrow, if the team batting first does not lose a lot of wickets, I think it is going to be a huge surprise for me. And from the Australian set of things, I think Travis Head is going to be the important factor in that Australian unit if they bat first. And if India bats first, I think a lot of eyes is going to be fixated on Shubman Gill. But I think tomorrow Rohit Sharma is going to be the player to watch out for, because obviously Virat Kohli, obviously Cheteshwar Pujara, and a lot of people have not been talking about the return of Ajinkya Rahane. I mean, a lot of people thought Ajinkya Rahane's career was over, especially in the Test team after his continuous failures. But the way he has bounced back, and nobody was wondering, or nobody was even questioning Ajinkya Rahane walking straight into the playing 11. It is this situation that India is facing in that middle order, with KL Rahul uh, not being present. You have Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant missing out. So India basically does not have a middle order batsman, and that is where Jinx, the actual Jinx, Ajinkya Rahane comes into the Indian team. And I think Ajinkya Rahane and Rohit Sharma are going to be the players to watch out for from the first from the first innings. And a lot of people talking about me taking off the jersey on live. I think I'll do that right after the live. I mean, you have able to do these sort of things in Boomer
Guys,
11. You don't need me being another
I think
Abel.
at this point in time, you guys are just bullying Sandhimani. He loves his country. Let him wear the jersey. It's all right. I mean, I know he showed some love to Australia early on.
Uh,
Ajinkya 0, Rohit 1.
no. I
God,
think
others
tomorrow
join the party.
Ajinkya Rahane and Rohit Sharma are going to be the players to watch out for. Even if they don't do well in the first innings, I think
Yeah.
second innings, in one of the either of the two innings.
Guys, I'll tell you what, if India does well tomorrow, someone is going to come back with vengeance. Right now, he's smiling, but there's a storm. There's a storm brewing behind those eyes.
Uh,
And, well, you
I'll
will
I'll
find
just
out when India
after
does
the
well.
live as well. I'll just go. I'll just pray
Other
throughout that.
worries to do.
I'll just pray throughout that India wins the toss, because if India wins the toss, half my worries and concern will be gone. But then again, I mean, with Travis Head and David Warner, you never really know what to expect. Yeah, I mean, Abel. I mean,
Yeah,
we
I mean,
have you to do all these things. You don't need me to come in and do all these things.
there we
You are in
go.
Boomer
Abel's
11.
here as well. This is proper hashtag now. Hashtag strip Sandhimani. It is just trending. I think at this point in time, we should definitely put this up on the what do you say on Twitter as well. I think we'll get a lot of views for Sandhimani to strip. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
Teju says if India lose,
yeah, just to think about it, I never really thought about this. IPL 2022, India did. I mean, KKR did perform in the worst possible manner that they could. India T20 World Cup, they did not do well.
oh,
23 IPL
oh
2023,
no.
KKR did not do well. And I don't like this trend.
I think it's time that we ask Sandhimani to buy opposition team jerseys, except for CSK, of
I mean,
course. Please don't buy
let's
CSK
wait till the
jerseys.
World Test Championship finals. I think. Uh, I mean, you want to put
Tomorrow,
it into
guys,
superstition and you want to put it into my jersey. I think it's all right, but the odds have never been in India's favor.
guys,
I mean, apart from the T20 World Cup.
next time you see Sandhimani tomorrow, he'll be wearing an Australia jersey. It's almost decided now. Sandhimani is at an enlightenment. If India win
No.
WTP, Sandhimani will do Mujra, it seems. See, guys, this
No,
is
I
what
think
Abel is.
Abel
When he's
is
on
really
the
backing
show,
Ajinkya Rahane to
when he's
perform
on the
well.
show, see, when he's on the show, Abel acts like the good boy. He acts like the guy who gets great haircuts. But when he's traveling, when he's off camera, he wants people to do mujra. This is Abel, guys. Abel expose right now.
And I think
Hashtag
this is
Abel
something that
expose.
I've heard from
Hashtag
Abel the
Sandhimani
most.
mujra.
Yeah, I mean, Abel, if he can come in and just comment, I think he can also comment on the live as well. Yeah, Teju,
There we
I
go.
mean,
I think Teju, you don't have to
when
miss it anymore.
yeah, I think you will. I can't take digs on Abel, especially because you talk about me, KKR not doing well, India not performing well. But I think if somebody has been getting it all wrong, I think it's Abel. Apart from Manchester City doing well, I think in the cricket front, nothing has been going in his favor. And RCB, for once, at least KKR has that distinction of winning two IPL trophies. But I can't say the
Once,
same for Abel.
once, a decade ago, Sandhimani, a decade ago. You realize next year, 2024, is a decade ago that KKR won their last trophy. So I think
I
it's
mean, it's
time
still.
that, you
I
know,
mean, we still won a trophy, right?
yeah, that's true. That's true.
But
Absolutely.
I think it's
But
done. We can forget the IPL trophies. I think we should focus on the World Test Championship tomorrow. Talking about the Australian contingent, I think unpopular opinion. I think David Warner should sit out. Scott Burland should get the nod ahead as the third seamer. And from the Indian front, I really want to see Ashwin play. I want to see KS Bharat play instead of Ishan Kishan, which I don't see happening. And India should go in with three seamers.
Sandipani, Abel has said that you're going to be doing a Musra party on Brigade Road. What are your
I mean
reactions to
that
it?
that's
It's become
just
like
Abel's
a. I
fantasies.
feel like
I
Arnab
don't think that is
Goswami
going to
right
come
now.
true.
I feel like Arnab Goswami at this point in time, just reading out comments, asking my guest on the show. Year 2100, 2100, but we have two trophies. Along with which, Abel will also be saying RCB is still going to win next year, while CSK probably
ये
has
साला
like a
कब
50
नाम
or
दे?
so of them.
It's year 2100
Yeah,
and Abel is still looking for RCB. ये साला कब नाम दे? Yeah,
dude,
but I think
guys, the reason
we
why
can
this won,
we can be done with the RCB
the
and the KR
reason,
debate right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you're wondering why the live is not over yet, it's because Abel's laptop is not allowing me to access the StreamYard servers. So, we might be stuck here for a while. And we'll be just talking about Sandipani and talking about Abel's comments. But
No.
let's talk about.
Yeah.
But let's do talk
I,
about what do we talk about?
and
Let's
then
talk about
we
cricket
can
in
talk
general,
about
right?
the we can talk about cricket in general because
IPL series.
we have a lot of series going on apart from the India versus Australia as well. I mean the hype and everything is based on India versus Australia, but you still had England come in and absolutely thrash Ireland. Not before Mark Adair put on a show in that second innings for Ireland. I think it was one of the
Yeah,
gutsiest performances that Ireland have put up since dismissing England for 37. I think the last time Ireland played England, they dismissed England all out for 37. But apart from that, I think this time around England had a convincing win, 10-wicket win. You had Ollie Pope come in, score a double century with ease. You did not have a Harry Brooks. You did not need a Harry Brooks to come in. You had the opener performing for them. The openers came good for them. Ben Duckett coming
yeah,
in, and then also I really loved the way with which Ollie Pope went about his business. So I mean, positive
yeah.
signs for England going ahead. You have Ollie Pope, and I think he is going to surpass Ian Bell's legacy for England. I mean, Ian Bell has a great legacy for England, but with whatever I have seen, Ollie Pope, I think he has a immensely bright future.
Yeah,
And then
unfortunately,
again,
Abel, your
you move
laptop is
into
updating
yeah. I mean, let's
at
just
the
forget
wrong
about it.
time,
I
so your
mean,
laptop
moving
won't
into
shutting
the
down.
subcontinent news, moving into the subcontinent news, you have the Pakistan Cricket Board still trying to fight for the IPL, I mean Asia Cup rights, and I mean they proposed uh, a lot of games, the Indian games to be hosted in UAE and some parts of the Asia Cup to be hosted in
Yeah, I mean,
Pakistan.
you it's never gonna happen, dude. I mean, why would Bangladesh and Sri Lanka take a flight from Pakistan and go all the way to UAE just to play India? I
Yeah,
mean, I can
and I think
understand
that's just
Pakistan's
bizarre.
issues.
Yeah,
It's not easy for Pakistan. They are going against India. India is a huge influence, but then India isn't wrong as well. I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but security in Pakistan is still a concern, and teams haven't sent their complete. So what's happening in Bhutan versus North Korea team? I think Abel's going to definitely come up and see, Abel. This is not my fault right now. Your laptop is crappy. It's time for you to change. I don't know. I think you have been using this laptop last when Sandivani's team won the IPL. It's time to change your laptop. It's
and
not
I
my
think
fault. So
that is where the jinx
please don't throw
for the
shade
Indian
here.
team started. I think the jinx in the Indian
Yes,
ICC trophies has got nothing to do with me. It's Abel's laptop, ladies
Sandivani
and gentlemen.
Sandivani is grasping at straws right now to find some reason to shift focus of his jerseys. I think it's time Sandivani you start buying Australia's jersey, England's jersey, Pakistan's jersey. But yeah,
Not
yeah,
going to
Tejas, so
happen, no,
talking about
bro.
this drama, right? Talking about this drama, right? See, here's the thing, Abel. This is what's happening with your laptop right now. See, it's just loading. I am not able to access StreamYard. I'm sorry, my
I
friend.
think I
It's
think
it's
it's
time to
time.
change the laptop.
Yeah, and I think it's also time that Boomer 11 should not Boomer 11. I mean, Boomer 11 in
Provide
general should
able
take,
with
yeah,
provide a
take the
star
streaming.
laptop, star
No, I mean, take the streaming rights from
provide a
just
star
Able.
with a
I think we
laptop.
should have the streaming rights as well. We can start and end the stream as we like, because we have been very dependent on Able, and we have disturbed Able a lot for our lives. Sometimes when he's not able to make it, and it's needed to be done, we really go, like, he has to really go out of his way to come and make the life happen for us. So I think it's time that we all get StreamYard rights.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think we're talking about the Asia Cup drama as we were speaking. I think India is genuinely rightly concerned to go to Pakistan because I mean I don't want to get political here, but we know what happens in Pakistan. Unfortunately, though there are forces that will try something that happened to the Sri Lankan team. That's for sure. And when that happens, you don't want to be the one. I mean, you don't want to be stuck in the middle of it. And I can understand why India has those concerns. So, unfortunately for Pakistan, they need to get their law and order situation right. There's the freaking civil war on the rise there, and you cannot be conducting Asia Cup in the middle of that.
Yeah, and then I don't even see them having the proper amount of security and everything. I think Pakistan, financially, economically, they are at their lowest. And right now, if you ask me, you can they should just give up on the rights for hosting the Asia Cup, and they shouldn't really fight over it. They can just simply go to UAE, because I think it's going to be a very important or crucial series from Pakistan's point of view as well. Because if Pakistan is indeed going to come in for the World Cup and play in India, they should at least have that one ODI series ahead of the World Cup, where they get to play India, where they get to play Sri Lanka, where they get to play Bangladesh. Because I think in subcontinent conditions, these are the three teams that will pose a huge threat to even teams like Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. And I think this time around England are going to find it very difficult to sort of retain the trophy, because Indian conditions, we have seen England haven't really done excelled in Indian conditions. The last time the World Cup was held in India, England lost to Ireland, and England also lost to Bangladesh. So uh, I think all in all, this is going to be
Yeah,
a
I
very
mean,
important series for
yeah,
Pakistan.
it's going to be one, but Sandimani, I think they need to realize they need to take stock of their situation right now. It's tough being in Pakistan as of at this moment, and they need to understand that cricket should be far from their minds conducting a cricket match. I know it's a source of revenue, it's a source of broadcast, and various other things. I totally understand. And you want cricket to be there in Pakistan, regardless of how you feel about the country. I mean, you don't want a cricketing country to lose out on stuff. I still will not say that India should go to Pakistan in the next 15 years. But when I talk about it, I'm talking about other countries going to Pakistan because we
Yeah,
need to sort out our relations first. They need to sort out our relations with us. That's a whole other topic. But
yeah,
in
yeah.
general, at this point in time, cricket should be far away from Pakistan cricket board's minds because they have a whole another situation to handle. But
And
yeah, I think
also,
that's Tejo
and
also says
also
I'll
whatever
echo the
games,
colonial mindset.
yeah, whatever games you have
Yeah,
in
go ahead, go
Pakistan,
ahead.
I think even the curators and the ground staff, they are not able to provide them with the right amount of pitch. It almost looks like you're playing on the road. No matter where you go to
Yeah,
Multan, you go to Karachi, you are playing in the same pitch, the same road pitch, where it's
absolutely.
very easy for the batters. There is a skewed advantage for the batters coming in and scoring runs for fun. So I think they need
Yeah,
a lot of things to get settled before they can actually think about hosting a multinational tournament, or for that matter even a bilateral tournament, bilateral series. I know
absolutely,
they'll get
absolutely.
a lot of revenue if India goes on to play in Pakistan, but it's absolutely, I think, unnecessary for them really calling India to Pakistan right now, with the political scenario, with their financial scenario. I think it's a no-brainer right now. I think Teju has some
Okay,
suggestion
I
for
love
you
this
on
comment.
how
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get
Don't
this
worry, Teju,
streamline
I've
going.
figured it all out. Last question I'll answer of yours and then we're ending it. I have figured it out. Abel's laptop has finally loaded after half an hour. I would like to thank Abel's laptop for cooperating with us. But yeah, I'll agree with this point, right? That they just put forward. I mean, look at, first of all, I don't think IPL is killing cricket. I genuinely don't think so. The people who say that are the ones who are losing, who are the ones who themselves are destroying cricket. And those are the, I mean, those, I'm not going to take names here, but those were the ones in charge of cricket for so many years. They didn't build any structure out of it. It was complete chaos. And now, when a more structured tournament like the IPL, the Big Bash, the MLC, now Major League Cricket is a huge revolution in cricket. I'm not kidding. It's going to be a big thing because it's caught on well in America. A lot of cricketer stars are, I think Jason Roy is opted out of central contract with England. We don't know what's the issue, what's going to be the thing with Jofra Archer. The issue here is when you've held on to cricket for so long and you haven't done anything to, grow it, to make it more competitive, you only try to create a monopoly. It was going to come down to this. It was obvious that the status quo was going to change. I genuinely thought things are going to change when, not the IPL, it was the ICL, if I'm not wrong. There was a rebel league which was created, the ICL, right? When that
Yeah.
was created, I thought that was going to be a huge change. But then BCCI came in quickly, created the IPL, took in all the players, and they escaped that damage. But now what is happening is, and BCCI is still okay comparatively. I mean, there's a lot of fault and lies with BCCI as well. They are the ones who have led this change. But when you start destroying smaller boards like West Indies, Zimbabwe's done dated themselves as well. But West Indies, for instance, they have no money left. New Zealand has no money left. South Africa has no money left. They are all going to obviously opt towards these tournaments. And when that happens, you're basically giving power to the franchisees. What should have ideally happened, Sandipani, according to me, is they should have had a structured tournament instead of bilaterals where every country plays each other in a Premier League sort of like a football sort of a way,
Yeah.
where there is a second tier where teams like Zimbabwe, Bangladesh, and all play. When they come up to the top tier, their revenues increase. So you do well, you have better revenue. You do bad, you lose revenue, and you that way the talent is
And I think
promoted,
they are
and that's where
moving
it's going
towards
to
that
go.
sort of a,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
think they are moving towards that sort of system where you have the World Test Championship cycle. This is nothing new. The teams are playing six other teams. I mean, six series where they are playing three home matches,
but
three away
even then,
series.
Sanimani, it's too
But this
late.
is, I think,
And
yeah,
look at the World Test Championship. India can play whomsoever they want. Sri Lanka has Pakistan played against the worst teams and played against the strongest teams at home. The only reason they didn't come into the finals. I think they had the easiest final opportunity. They played Sri Lanka and Bangladesh away from home. They played Australia, England, New Zealand at home. Look at India's
no,
WTC
I
cycle,
mean,
how
Jaden,
difficult it was.
it's still very new, right? This is only the second season of the World TC.
Yeah,
By
but
the
I
time
don't think this will
the
go away from
cycle
the
is
money
in the fifth
because
stage, yeah,
you have basically created a tournament around the boards. You're adjusting with the boards. It shouldn't be like that. It should be the ICC which
definitely,
directs the
definitely,
boards.
definitely
Yeah,
you should in the future you should have that Premier League sort of a setup based on tiers,
yeah,
tier
yeah,
1, tier 2. But right now as well you have tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cricket, where you have teams like teams from the Europe, teams from North
yeah.
America,
But
South
Sanjay, they're not
America.
playing each other.
playing-
They're not playing each
yeah,
other. Hey, I mean, I'm not
they're
talking
not
about
playing each other,
international
yeah.
cricket. I think bilateral system is too old now. No one wants to see bilateral cricket anymore. Unfortunately, that is the truth. Viewership is falling everywhere. And see, I mean, Nasir Hussain, Mike Atherton, they're all irritated because it's happening to their country. They were all okay when they were poaching South African cricketers. There was no issues then. There was no issue when
I mean,
Kevin
just
Peterson came and played for
count
England.
the
No
number
issue
of
when
England cricketers who are from
Jonathan
England
Cross did
origin.
it. So yeah, I mean, Nasir Hussain and Mike Atherton should realize that wherever that money talks at the end of the day. At the end of the day, money talks. Cricket is an entertainment for millions and sport only for a few, the cricketers who play it. I mean, we all, the fair play and everything is part of it, and we're not losing it. I just think people are stuck at the old age. Things are changing, and it's time you roll with it. It's already too late. and now it's being forced down the throats of ECB, of New Zealand Cricket Board, because players are not going to stay. They have to provide for their family, and it's understandable what they're doing. I won't blame a Jason Roy for what he's doing. I won't blame a Jofra Archer. He takes up the offer because you are paying Jofra Archer the same amount of money that I think a Joe Root earns, even lesser if I'm not
Yeah.
wrong. And you're asking him to bowl what,
Yeah.
50 overs, 50 overs in 3 weeks? How is that fair? How is it fair?
Exactly. I think.
Our Mumbai Indians are going to take better care of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I
I don't
think
like
a lot
Mumbai
of
Indians,
players have.
but they're going to take better care of it.
I think a lot of players have already started to make the shift, and in the future, I think in the
Yeah,
coming year or so, you will see a
yeah.
lot more players moving away from central contract. Apart from boards like BCCI, because you have a cushy contract for BCCI players, at least the top tier players,
That's my
and
point, right?
it's
Yeah.
yeah,
See,
and
it
it's not that
started with
Indian
West
players don't
Indies.
have. Yeah,
It
I mean
started
Indian
with
players
West
also
Indies,
have
Zimbabwe,
the
low
issue
paying West Indies.
of
Yeah, yeah.
not doing. I mean, we are both speaking at the same time, and then we're both stopping at the same time.
Go ahead, go ahead, go
But
ahead.
yeah, I
Go ahead.
think Indian players also have this issue of getting a lesser pay, and I think we saw that with the likes of Unmukh Chand, when he realized that he could not have a career playing for India, will not be a main feature in this Indian team. He moved on to the US, and
Yeah.
then you will see these sort of things happen. At the end of the day, you are playing for yourself. It's a team sport. You're playing for the nation. You're playing. Everything is justified. But if you don't get that grand prize of playing for the nation, playing for India, A or India, you might as well, instead of playing for in the Ranji setup or waiting for your chance. I wouldn't really mind if Sarfaraz Ahmed, sorry, not Sarfaraz Ahmed, Sarfaraz Khan or Sanju
Sanju
Samson really
Samson.
takes up a job where they get to play more cricket. For yeah, Sanju Samson and Sarfaraz Khan for
Yeah.
sure. Because if the Indian team is really not utilizing you or realizing your potential, or there is no place in the talent pool that they have, you can obviously use your talent and go and play for another country if you want.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with that. And especially with this franchise cricket, I think a lot of players, the patriotism part also goes away with franchise cricket. A lot of people may really wonder that, yeah, I don't really want to go and play for Ireland or USA. I'm really from India. I really have this patriotic feeling in me. But with the
Yeah, yeah,
franchise
right.
cricket stepping in and making the rounds, you have no problem going in and playing for Essex
But I
or
think
or
that's not something
Durham.
funny. Yeah, you're on to something here, because I think subcontinent players are much more patriotic. I mean, I'm not judging here. I'm not passing judgments here, but there's a lot of, how do I put it? Like, there's a lot more passion when it comes to betrayal and stuff like that. People will feel if they leave their country and start playing for franchises. But I mean, for instance, look at a Jofra Archer, right? He's really not from England, so he's not going to have any sense of patriotism regardless. He came here for better opportunities. Now, if he feels Mumbai Indians provides him better opportunities, he might go there. And I don't think it's a question of
Exactly.
patriotism anymore in cricket as well. Because my point being, right, these franchise teams, they look at these players as assets. Someone whom they need for their future. But I think cricket boards have been guilty of not looking at players as assets, not looking at players as players, but rather as someone they can fill in a team. So I think that's where they have been suffering, right? They've not been treating their players well, unfortunately. Franchises have been, and that's
Yeah.
why these players are having this loyalty factor towards the franchisees over their boards. And also, cricket is kind of shifting from that country and patriotism to a little bit more towards, a basketball or a football, where you play for the club, you play for the franchise, your loyalty lies there. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much
Exactly.
it. I'll do what Sandiman, I mean, what Teju told me. I'm going
just
to take it over high in my hands
Yeah,
and
just
throw it
before
out
that,
on
I
the
think
floor and keep it
tomorrow's
alive.
tomorrow's prediction.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just go with you as well. What are your predictions for tomorrow? At the end of the day, what do you expect to
Um,
see?
I think India wins the toss, loses 5 wickets, and scores 223 runs. Very specific.
India will bat first. You are reckoning that India will win the toss and bat first.
Or rather, sorry, yeah, my bad. I think India will lose the toss, but lose five
Yeah.
wickets and score 223 runs. My bad. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a similar sort of feeling, but since you have already said that, I think India is going to win the toss tomorrow. But Australia are also going to lose only 6 to 7 wickets and score around 250 runs.
All right. So the toss is the only difference between my prediction and Sandeep Mani's prediction. Well
Yeah,
played,
yeah,
smart.
yeah. Because I
But
could see them.
having said that, yeah, having said that, thank you so much, guys, for joining us on this live. It was fun bullying Sandeep
Another
Mani
day
while
where we
he
have
spoke
really
about.
crossed our time limits because Abel is not there. Nobody is there to stop us and really.
No, it was not that. It was Abel's laptop. Guys. It was Abel's laptop. It was updating for 30 minutes. Okay, 30 minutes. I was going to end the live after we spoke about Scott Ballin, but then Abel's laptop didn't allow me to do it. It's his fault. But having said that, thank you guys for
Good, I
joining us
guess.
and thank you for being so patient with us. Good night.
Yeah, yeah. Good, I guess.